country was founded for the people, by the people, of the people. And that's what I want to bring back. I want to be a voice for all of you. I want to be like Dee Dee Barrett. She is amazing, right? And she goes every month, maybe more, and she sits down, and it's open to anyone that wants to come. I'm from New Lebanon. We have 2,300 people. I'm also going to be representing East Greenbush. They have 23,000 people. Their needs are very different than the needs that I know in my small rural community. So I want to hear from the people and bring that voice with me to Albany. I think it's really important in these times that people feel faith, trust, and representation in their government, and I think that we've lost that faith, trust, and representation, and I want to bring it back. My mother-in-law said, "You really want to be a politician? Is that really something you want to do?" And I said, "No, I don't. When you think of what a politician is, that is not what I want to do, and that is not what I want to be. I want to be a public servant. I want to be a representative of the people, and I want to bring your voices to where they can be heard and represented." So I'm doing this because I have 3 young children, and when we watch the news right now, I can't explain to them why things are happening the way that they're happening. My son is biracial. He wonders why, in today's day and age, we have a school-to-prison pipeline system, and why he having dark skin, he's going to have to act differently than my 2 daughters who are Caucasian. And it shouldn't be that way. And I realize that I'm running for assembly. I'm not running for federal or Congress, but I want to bring back real ethics reform, right? You should not be an elected official that can break the law while performing your duties as an elected official and then get to run for higher office, right? Or get your legal fees paid. If you are found guilty of something in your elected capacity, no taxpayer dollars should fund your legal fees, your pension, your salary. If I get found guilty of sexual harassment in my workplace, I don't have a job anymore. And so I think our elected officials need to be held to a higher standard than the people who elect them. And right now they're held to a lower standard, and I want to change that, and I want to have those conversations. So some of the issues. First of all, I definitely want to hear from all of you, not tonight because you've been sitting a long time, but I want to hear what you think your top issues are. But I want to talk a little bit about my experience growing up in New Lebanon and now living here for the last 8 years serving for the town, and also from some people that I've talked to. You mentioned the opioid crisis. That is obviously a big one. I worked in the court for 6 years, and I saw people come in that had maybe just tried heroin, and they looked pretty good. And within 6 months, I saw them come back to court and they were a ghost. They were gone. It was that quick. And I think everyone in this room, if not personally, at least knows someone who knows someone personally that has been a victim of this crisis. And we need to do something different. What we're doing is not working. Criminalizing it is not working. What Peter Volkman has brought to Chatham, treatment, that is what works. And we need to have those conversations and we need to change those. Don mentioned Hoosick Falls, the PFOA crisis. When I talk to residents up there, they feel like they're not being heard or represented. It's been over a year, and they still don't have the attention that they need. They said their elected officials in Albany came and did a photo op and said, "We're here, we care," but then nothing happened. No funding came, no legislation got passed. So first of all, when you have open and transparent government, when the government does studies on your water that's contaminated, you have access to those studies. Right now, the residents don't have access. Can you imagine having contaminated water that's unsafe to drink, knowing that there's a file sitting somewhere that has the results of what it is that you're facing, and the government saying, you can't have those? People have foiled them, and they've been told no. I deal with FOIL requests all the time as the town clerk's office. You should never be told no unless there's something in there that's confidential, that can't be revealed. Other than that, the answer is yes, here you go, we have those files. And as an assemblywoman, I don't even need you to ask. As the town clerk, I have our website set up so that you can access anything that you need. I get 3 FOIL requests a year. Other town clerks with towns the size of mine get 50, 60, because people don't need to FOIL me. And even what I'm calling my FOIL request, my 3, it's not on a FOIL form. Somebody emails me, hey, do you have this information? Sure. I put it in my FOIL file because that's essentially what they were doing. I've worked with Bob Freeman a lot from the Committee on Open Government. He is fabulous, and he's guided me on how to really be for the people. I'm not here and elected because I'm supposed to decide what happens up here and keep it from you. I'm here and elected because I'm here to represent you and bring your voices with me to Albany, and there shouldn't be any secrets. If there's secrets, then there's something wrong, right? If you're doing things the way you're supposed to be doing things, why do you need to hide it from anybody? So open and transparency in the government is huge to me. We also have infrastructure now in Columbia County. We've come a long way. Spectrum should be launching June 5th. Yay! And I know that's because our supervisors, my supervisor Colleen Teal, has worked tirelessly, putting their feet to the fire. When they say, oh yeah, we're going to do this, if it's not done, there's a result. And that's part of what is broken right now in our system, is that when things happen that shouldn't happen or a law is broken, if there's no consequence, if there's no, let's look at the environment, right? If I'm a company that has billions of dollars and I have waste that I need to get rid of, and the fine for me dumping that in the ocean is $1 million, but to dispose of it is $3 million. Guess what? I'm going to dump it in the ocean, I'm going to pay the $1 million fine, and I'm still better off at the end of the day than having to dispose of it properly. So we need to make sure that those things match, right? That the punishment matches the crime, especially for large corporations. That is not who has our best interest at heart. We need an environment that my children can live in, that can have children and children's children, and we need to really pay attention now on what we're doing. And in New Lebanon, I did also work very hard to bring New Lebanon as a clean, energy efficient community through benchmarking our energy usage, figuring out how much we're using, where we can get better at usage. I just applied for a grant for an EV charging station for New Lebanon. People I talk to say, that's not your job as the town clerk. No, not really, but because I'm a resident of New Lebanon and I care about our environment and I care about our future, and I'm in an office where I can apply for that grant, the town board said, we don't feel like taking the effort to do that. I said, I'll do it, and I stepped up and did it. And so the kind of person I am is a public servant. I will fight tirelessly for you. I don't just stop when I'm told no. If I feel that something is important to you as my residents, I will fight, I will fight, I will fight, and I will not stop fighting until change happens. So infrastructure, opioid, job creation, that's one that I hear a lot, not only in this county, but in Rensselaer County, and our senior population, right? So my mom's part of the baby boomer generation. There's a lot of you, and you're getting to an age where in the next 10, 15, maybe 20 years, you're gonna need some services, right? And everybody I talk to doesn't want to go and live in a nursing home. They want to age in their home. They want to age where they are comfortable. And so we need jobs, and we need services for our seniors to age in their home. So let's combine those two things together, and let's put a good job training program in place, so that we're not just paying someone $10 an hour to come over to my mother's house and feed her a microwave meal. We're going to train them properly and we're going to pay them properly for the service they're providing, so that we're getting quality care for our seniors. And I know you guys have been sitting a really long time, so I think I'm going to go to questions. I don't want to keep you on this beautiful night any longer than I need to.
Trysta, I know you've been in the campaign since around January.
Yes.
And obviously, you know what happened. Where do you stand on cash on hand now, and where do you expect to be able to be?
Sure. So just for people that don't know, what he's referring to is I entered into the election for the special election. I did not get chosen. Cindy Duran, as you all know, got chosen. As soon as the election was over in April, I came back to the plate with the people in charge and said, I really am wanting to do this again, but out of respect for Cindy, who had just run a race, I was waiting to see what she was going to do. So she decided last weekend that she is not running, and since then I have been fundraising. I'm at $30,000 to date in 1 week. However, I haven't yet even launched my website. That's coming tomorrow, my Act Blue site. So I have no problem saying that I'll get to at least $100,000. I'm hoping to get higher than that. The average for this district for the last 20 years is $69,000. So I will surpass that. And before coming back to New Lebanon to raise my family, I was a tour manager for nationally touring bands and a festival organizer and producer. And so I know people all across the country. I have 1,800 Facebook friends that are all the people that I know. So even though they're not in my district, I know I'm going to get a lot of donations from people that just love me and support me and want me to make a difference. And then I also am working with the labor unions on getting donations there. Yes? Endorsements. So So far, I have the Working Families Party endorsement, and I have an endorsement from Phil Steck. I'm going to let Mike speak to Rensselaer County. I don't know if it's too early to talk about Rensselaer County or not.
You know, we're having our meeting on Monday, June 4th, and my word has been from the get-go that we supported Cindy Dorn for a special election. Our party was very impressed with Trysta's performance when she competed for the nomination, and ultimately it was a unique situation. The governor called for a special election. We had 10 days, and the 3 chairs actually decided who got the nomination. There was no time for this type of process, etc. So Cindy, as Trysta mentioned, recently I had told everybody, I made it clear personally that I was with Cindy Dorn if she chose to run again, and if she did, I was supporting the district. So on Monday, June 4th, the Rensselaer County Democratic Committee will make their decision official. That's all I can share.
Yes?
How do you deal with people who have different opinions than you? Because you obviously care a lot about individuals and people, and I really like hearing that, but what if someone comes to you with something that you don't really agree with them, but
Sure.
you hear that they're hurting?
Absolutely. So as you can see, I'm very passionate about what I believe, but I'm also very open to all different perspectives, because I haven't walked in your shoes, and so you might be looking at something a different way that I can learn from. So I have my experience in life that I'm drawing from, and then when we work together as a team and as a group, we get all the different perspectives coming together to really be able to look at every single side of the issue, and I think that's very important. You know, I talk about myself being a pretty liberal Democrat. My husband is a diesel mechanic, a hunter, a pistol permit, pistol owner. We're very different. And we talk sometimes about things that we don't see eye to eye on. And it's great to get that other perspective. Even if I don't come around to seeing it the same way he does, I at least have a better perspective as to why our differences are there. And as your representative, it's not about what I want. So if I'm representing you and the majority of my constituents think that this is what's going to serve them best, even if I think it's this, my job as your representative is to vote for what is going to support you as my constituents. So does that answer your question? Okay. Other questions? Yes?
So you said your husband is a hunter and he has guns. and
Yes.
What is your position on gun control?
Sure. So I think that as a candidate, I can reach voters on all sides of the issue, because I think that what we need to do is we need to take both extremes off the table. So getting rid of the Second Amendment is not going to happen, and doing nothing is not going to happen. So now we need to come to the table as adults, and we need to talk about what is something we can do. We have to do something. There have been 22 school shootings. We're in May. That's since January. We can't do nothing. So for me, something that I would absolutely feel confident to get behind, and my husband agrees with me on, is we don't need military assault rifles. We don't need those. Those are I think that that's something that if we go about it the right way, not polarizing, right, the Republicans, but we talk as humans, as parents, as community members, knowing that it could be your child next, even if you're a Republican who owns guns. So I think that's something that we can come to common ground on and get past, and I think that's something that we need to get past.
But the SAFE Act is part and parcel of that. So what do you say to the Republicans who wants to repeal the SAFE Act, which is one of the things that provides some protection to New York State residents?
Right. So absolutely. So the SAFE Act, the only thing that I have issue with the SAFE Act was the way it was passed. When I get to open and transparent government, I don't think that that was followed in that instance. And so I think that a lot of people that I've talked to have issue with how it was done, not necessarily what it is. So I think that right now it's a little tainted because of the way it was kind of forced through. So again, I would talk about, sensible gun laws, not taking away somebody's right to bear arms, but making sure that we do something to protect our children. And I think that there's a lot of common ground that can be found in there. And the fact that, the SAFE Act, I think, was kind of shoved down people's throats. And even Republicans that I know that I've talked to, that is their opposition to it. Not necessarily what it was. Because again, coming back to your question, had it been allowed to be looked at with time and with everybody, maybe it could have been passed a different way that had a perspective over here that wasn't thought about. So the more people you get to the table to talk about these things, the more perspectives you get involved, the more comprehensive legislation you get passed.
We really appreciate it. We really appreciate the passion you both have and the stands that you have, which we find so attractive. In the end, we have voted to endorse Trysta Houghtling, and we're very pleased with that. We're looking forward to a win.
Appreciate it, absolutely.
All right, congratulations. And Don, thank you so much.
Thank you.